Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Doing Business in Rwanda. I am your host, Lois Washira. It's a beautiful summer day in Kigali. In this week's episode, we speak to Rwanda's Director General of ICT regarding their latest IT technology and more. But first, back in the year 2000, the Rwandan government set out on a journey to transform the tourism sector on the back of one of the most endangered mountain gorillas across the world that resides in the volcano mountains in North Rwanda. We trace back to find out what some of the milestones this economy has made through conserving, empowering, and also contributing to its GDP. The mountain gorilla, an endangered, large, strong ape, inhabits Africa's volcanic slopes along the Great Rift Valley. Rwanda's tourism sector has been cashing in on the interest in the mountain gorilla since the government made a concerted effort to turn around the once dormant tourism sector over a decade ago.
Well, the first I would mention is we kind of had to decide which kind of tourism we want to promote. We chose or opted for high-end tourism because what we were selling at that time, starting off with our gorillas, is a limited product, and it's a product that you still want to conserve. So exposure to the gorillas had to be limited to a number. We had a daily quota, and with that came high end, because you're not opening it up to a huge target audience. It worked well also because we had to also look at what we're offering in terms of logistics. The lodges were not so many. The hotels in Rwanda throughout the country were not many neither, but we've been growing steadily.
Fast forward to 2014. The tourism sector is now a force to be reckoned with, generating up to $294 million in 2012, up from $62 million in 2000. So what measures did Rwanda put in place to achieve this growth?
What we are really celebrating is that we've done well in implementing a well thought out plan, whether that be implementing the tourism master plan, but also our marketing plan. So we've been able to marry the two while conserving our environment.
Over the last 9 years, a gorilla naming ceremony dubbed Kwita Izina has been held. It is aimed at tracking and conserving these money-making primates. Since the ceremonies began, 161 mountain gorillas have been named to celebrate nature and the communities that protect these magnificent animals. 18 baby gorillas were named last week at an event that now attracts thousands of tourists from across the globe.
We had to look at how to expose this species to the tourists.
We've seen big increase, big leap, And around 2004, we had very few people coming to Rwanda. And today, that time was maybe in a couple of thousands. And today we are in, hundreds of thousands. And in terms of visitors, we've reached about 1.2 million visitors, generating about $280 million.
Involvement of all stakeholders, from tour operators to, more importantly, the community around gorilla habitats, have been instrumental to Rwanda's tourism success story.
Part of the money that is generated from tourism, from the tourists that we bring, of course, they go towards the conservation, paying the staff of the parks, awareness of conservation, preserving those magnificent mountain gorillas.
The country has come up with an ambitious model to plow back to the community up to 5% of revenues generated from tourism-related activities. But how exactly are the communities benefiting from Rwanda's tourism sector?
The revenues that are collected from the 3 parks that we have, so the volcanoes, Akagera and Nyungwe, 5% of that revenue is redistributed to fund certain social projects in the communities around the parks.
One such initiative is construction of a new school, Kora Primary School, located near the park. The head teacher tells us that construction of the primary school has come at just the right time.
Mbere yuko aya mashuri yubakwa hari ikibazo gikomeye cy'abanyeshuri ku buryo bajya kwiga kure bakoze ibirometero n'ibirometero, bigatuma abana batangira ishuri mwaka wa mbere biba ngombwa bagakererwa kujya ku ishuri. Ariko nyuma yaho aho RDB itwubakiye ibyumba by'amashuri, icyo kibazo cyo kujya kwiga kure cyarakemutse ku buryo umwana atangira ishuri ku gihe.
But the ultimate beneficiaries are the pupils like little Oscar, who previously had to take long trips before getting to school.
Uko byatugenderaga nguko twebwe kuri abanyeshuri twakoraga ibirometero bijavuga bija regade peri kabatwa none ukuntu twishimye turashimira umushinga RDB wabidukoreye none buno tugiye kwiga dutuje.
For such a project to be ultimately successful, it needs the support of the community members who turned out in large numbers during the official opening of the school.
We could never have done it without the community support. They are the real police. So we've worked with them, and this 5% is really, I think, like I mentioned, a confirmation to them and for them to understand that they are part owners of these initiatives that we have.
The Rwandan government's overall goal is socio-economic improvement of the livelihoods of her citizens. Projects like these will go a long way in transforming lives, while at the same time growing the contribution of the tourism sector to the country's gross domestic product. A lot is certainly happening in Rwanda's tourism scene, but other sectors have not been left out. I earlier sat down with Didier Ngurikimfura, the Director General of ICT, for more on the milestones the country is making in this sector too. Thank you for joining us, Didier. Now, last year, Rwanda launched an ICT plan dubbed Smart ICT, aimed at increasing internet penetration, with the overall goal being socio-economic development. What are some of the plans in place for this?
Looking at how we can smartly use ICT to support socio-economic development goals that the country have. About the genesis of this is in October last year, we had the Transform Africa 2013 summit here in Kigali with 8 heads of state, more than 2,000 delegates from government, private sector, and other spheres. They came, converged here, and all took a decision to use ICT for socio-economic development. So Rwanda also is on the same path. At this point of time, we've actually gone through our own plans, which over the next 5 years will drive the usage of ICT to support socio-economic development. Internet penetration is one of the targets, but it's only one. There are more, much more. And we want really to use, to increase to integrate ICT in all sectors of economy, including education, health, local government or the governance, agriculture, finance, and other sectors.
Speaking about ICT development, you cannot fail to talk about IT penetration. Where does Rwanda currently stand at?
We decided to invest in those infrastructure first. That was the very first policy action that we took over the last few years. We have a national backbone connecting all districts of this country. We have the Kigali Metropolitan Network here, and as of recent, we also started the 4G network that is going to cover the 95% of the population. That's on the access side, increasing the access. So you know that we have a 2G network operational. We have also a 3G, which is growing, and 4G also, which was started. But on the other side, it also goes with the accessibility of affordable devices. So we have started a program that will allow people to access devices, to purchase devices, affordable devices, but on payment plans.
You pride yourself among the first African countries to adopt 4G long-term evolution technology, commonly known as LTE. Tell us more about this milestone.
We decided to adopt a model which is a little bit different from some what other countries are doing, because we realized that several of our telecom operators and internet service providers have been focusing on very specific areas, mainly cities. We have more than 80% of population living in rural areas. So we specifically decided to take an approach, a sort of an open and an open model that will allow, through one company on a wholesale basis, to deploy the entire network in the country. And we talk about 95% of where the population live.
Speaking about Rwanda's public institutions, how are they leveraging on the ICT sector?
For that, we decided, I think, quite early to, first of all, join the same type of initiatives that you mentioned, the Silicon Valley, just providing the right ecosystem. But also we believe innovation, our people, our young people have a lot of innovation. They have a lot of ideas. What maybe they're missing is how to translate them into successful business ideas. So this incubation, helping them understand beyond the technology side what they need, that's something that has taken place. We have K-Lab, the Knowledge Lab, which is here in Kigali, but we have a lot of similar initiatives which are picking up in the country. And we help them into translating this into giving them really the type of knowledge they need to make them into businesses. Now, because the internet is borderless, there is any idea which really makes business sense can be extended to any part of the world.
And finally, Didier, what should investors and consumers look out for when it comes to Rwanda's ICT sector?
Some of the areas where we've been looking and inviting potential investors are, first of all, we have actually 5 specific priorities we wanted to focus. The first one is BPO, business process outsourcing, because there are a lot of opportunities here, and we believe that Rwanda, with being a bilingual country, we have French speakers, we have also English speakers, we have really the and you know what it takes actually to support both back end and front end BPO businesses. We decided also to focus on cloud computing, on IT training, on IT security. I'm talking here about solutions that can be actually exported.
And that brings us to the end of this week's program. There's still very many more stories to tell about Rwanda's progression, and we will continue bringing you more of this. For this and previous episodes, visit our website, cnbcafrica.com, and remember to bookmark it. I've been your host, Lois Washira, and from the rest of the Doing Business in Rwanda team, until next time, continue keeping it business.